You remember when I said a couple videos back that I could no longer be shocked by anything that was coming in Berserk? At all, there's no way I could possibly be shocked. Well, I retract that statement and say I am fucking shocked by multiple things about this volume. Berserk just dabbled into something that normal manga or anime or even series in general will never try to do or write. A writer would barely ever try to write something that was in this volume, especially with how dark it is, especially when you add on the stuff we already know up to this point of the series. Okay, so with volume 17 of Berserk, we're starting to dabble into religion, God, pretty much. And from what I could see, is that we're getting into themes of how you have witch burnings, black plague, stuff like that going on in this volume. You clearly see it built up in this entire volume. This volume is definitely built up for whatever arc I'm currently getting into. I'm going to say it's, what's the chapter called? I guess the chapter's right at the beginning. Give me a second. Conviction arc. That's what they're calling this arc. So, the conviction arc. It's actually very fitting. The name is actually, now that I think about it, judging by what I saw in this volume. So, I want to just start off the bat, before I get into the theme of this volume, I want to talk about something real quick that I forgot to mention in my last volume review. No Chibi pointed it out, but I wanted to mention it because I went back to actually read volume 16 and 15 and all that, just to see if I missed anything, see if there's any form of symbolism. I've actually been doing that quite a bit. I've been going back and reading my volumes of Berserk just to see if I missed anything and how the symbolism was, see how the themes and all the sorts of stuff that is in Berserk, like if I missed anything at all. And so I went back and I noticed quite a few things. There was a scene specifically in volume 16, the entire bit where Guts is walking through the forest, and I brought up last review that Guts is walking through the forest and he saw these ghouls or monsters or whatever talking to him, spirits, say like, you killed children, you killed a bunch of them, and you saw this like wolf or fox spirit, dark spirit wrap itself around Guts, you see it talking to him. Well, in that moment when Guts was talking, he had like an inner monologue thought. He was actually thinking, and he actually looked up and he saw this shining image of Griffith. Now, this instantly made me think of something I remembered from volume 13 of Berserk. As we know, Griffith was trying to reach that castle, the kingdom far off into the distance, the shining castle he was trying to reach, and he had to pile up the corpses to reach that castle. And in that essence, with that entire section of volume 16, if you read it with Guts' perspective, he says, how many apostles must I kill? How many apostles must I trample and kill to finally get there, to see him? And he envisions Griffith. And that instantly makes me think, like, holy shit, he's piling up corpses to get to Griffith. The similarity and correlation between that is fucking amazing. Seriously, I did not realize that until I went back to read it. Pretty much, Guts is doing what Griffith did, except he's not really killing humans, he's killing fucking demons. He's piling up corpses of demons to reach his goal. And I'm like, holy fuck, the symbolism. Okay, so now that I just pointed that out, if no one ever realized that, let's move on to volume 17. Okay, so I want to get into some themes before I talk about the essence of this volume. I just want to talk about something real quick. As we know from volume 13, the idea of evil is the controller of causality, the cause and effect. And with this volume, it makes me think about something completely. Like, I completely had a fury going up in my mind after seeing something specifically in this volume, which I'm about to show you. I opened this volume of Berserk, and I did not think much about it until I read to the end. And then I went back and opened up the volume, and I'm like, holy shit. Look at this right quick. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that well. I'll back it up, and then I'll make it forward so you can see it, depending on, you know, how the zoom effect on the camera is. But pretty much, look at that right there. Look at that image. If you don't understand the symbolism of that, pause the screen and look at it. I'll explain it right now. What I get from this entire thing, at first it just looks like the symbol that the Holy See has. That's exactly what it looks. It looks like their symbol of worship that the Holy See has. When you saw, you know, Farnese, you know, doing this, the prayer thing in this volume, how she's praying to this symbol, well, I didn't think much about it until I read this volume. And when I saw this, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I looked down, and there is a behelit. There is a behelit right there. Look, there is literally a fucking behelit right there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is there a behelit there? And then I remember behelits are technically connected to the idea of evil. As we remember, the idea of evil pretty much made the behelits. to make apostles and stuff, and give dreams and stuff like that. Well, I looked at the image closer, I'm like, okay, what the hell? And there's a behelit. And then if you look closely, you'll see two white serpents coming out of the behelit. You'll actually see the egg-shaped behelit crack. Now, technically, this is an egg. The behelit has been referenced as a type of egg shape in the series of Berserk. I remember it mentioned way down in the past. And you see these two snakes actually coming out of the behelit, cracking out of it, and they're wrapped around and they're nailed against this white bird. And finding out what it was after reading this volume, we find out it's a hawk, a white hawk. Now, instantly when I saw a white hawk, I'm like, what is a white hawk in the series? Griffith. Griffith can be symbolized as a hawk. The band of hawks, he turned into Femto, if I'm correct. I think that's his name. But, I mean, Griffith turned into a black hawk, but still, technically, he's a hawk. And the white hawk technically symbolizes Griffith. And so, when they were saying they were hunting down the Hawk of Darkness, it's pretty much, you know, it's Griffith. We knew that. But still, with this entire symbol, with this symbol of a hawk chained up, like it's had a crucified on a fucking cross, you see these white serpents coming out of it and on, like, nailed to the fucking bottom of this hawk with a behelit where the snakes and stuff and probably the hawk is coming out of. I was like, whoa. Whoa. You know what this makes me believe and what theory I have from this? The religion of the Holy See, after thinking about it, was created by the idea of evil. The idea of evil, as we know, creates everything. It makes everything possible. It can make anything happen. Like, you know, how it built up for centuries and decades for the certain events where Griffith could be born. The idea of evil did that. To make sure Griffith could be born and all the events that happened was predestined for where he can succeed and become a god hand. Well, this doesn't necessarily say the idea of evil stopped there. The idea of evil controls everything. It controls all causality. It controls it all. And so that means that this Holy See, this organization, was created by the idea of evil. It was created by the idea of evil, and literally the fucking symbol of this organization is Griffith. The fuck? The fucking fuck? Okay, I just want to point that out. That's what I got from this volume. I'm like, holy hell. It's really fucked up if you think about it. I mean, seriously, the god they're worshipping is like an evil fucking god. They're worshipping an evil god. Oh my god. Okay, so now that I've probably blown a couple people's minds if they're currently reading this along with me, or late readers that did not realize that, pretty much that is ridiculous if you think about it. Like, so, wow. Wow. Okay, so, past that entire point of this, we see this new character introduced called Mosgus. This dude is an inquisitor, and he is like one of these priests of a church. Like, you know, someone you would see back in the old days of witch burning stuff in the 1700s, 1600s, when you saw people being burned at the stake. This is that type of dude. He's the dude that initiates orders like, burn the heretic, burn the witch, stuff like that. That's exactly what this dude is. After reading this ending part of this volume, Mosgus is this inquisitor that thinks he's laying down the righteous path of God. He has his nose technically in the holy scriptures, and he thinks that he needs to burn any heretic to the fucking stake. And that's what he's doing. He's killing everybody that goes against anything towards religion or goes against any of his disciples or him in general. You'll use the will, like you'll put him death by will, you'll burn him at the stake. I mean, the brutality in this, and the themes, like the realistic themes that are used in this volume that actually has correlation with fucking real life, I'm like, oh my god, that's something like not a lot of writers is willing to do. It isn't. No writers are usually willing to go that far and actually trample upon religion. Technically, they are, like, the writer, Kentaro, is technically trampling upon religion. Let's think about this for a second. Let me explain why. Because technically, the Holy See is worshipping an idea of evil, the evil fucking god that's been falsely created just to help out Griffith some form or fashion. I don't know. Or the God Hand. Now, with this volume, the biggest thing you can get is the setup of this prophecy. And this prophecy completely states that there is going to be like a tower will fall, if I'm correct, and blind sheep will gather, and they will make a erected tower of flames, like a burning tower of flames or whatever. A pillar of flames, that's it, a pillar of flames. They will erect a pillar of flames. And in that prophecy that was said, you see Kasuga being burned. And then instantly, I'm like, whoa, we're dealing with fucking religion right now. This dude is putting people death by will, burning at the stake. That's what they say in this volume. I'm like, Kasuga being burnt, thinking about the possibilities of this, and thinking about the themes of Berserk. I'm like, okay, they're accusing her for a fucking witch. They're definitely accusing her for a witch. And they're gonna burn her. And Guts gets his prophecy, and he has to go find her, pretty much, at this Tower of Conviction. That's exactly what he finds out where to go, so he's heading towards there. Now, Kasuga, as we can see, is still crazy as ever at the end of this volume. She actually starts smiling and laughing at these people that are condemned to death on the fucking wheel. She literally starts laughing. Literally, like, the final page. Let me see if I can show you. I don't want to show you if it's too violent. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can show that. Okay, look. You see her laughing at these corpses of people. That's fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. I'm just gonna say right now. My god, dude. Kasuga's pretty fucking insane. As I've said it before, it's understandable why she's insane. I mean, if you get raped by thousands of demons, I mean, yeah, you'd be pretty fucking insane too. Well, I guess I made that a little too much. I mean, if you get raped by hundreds of demons, or even 20, that's still fucking ridiculous, okay? Speaking of Kasuga getting raped by demons, in this volume, Guts remembers his pain that he went through in the past with Kasuga getting raped. The memories of the eclipse are brought back up in this volume. Farnese, the female leader of the Holy See, supposedly we find out only maidens can be the leaders of the Holy See, the Holy Chain Knots. She, like, only females can. Well, she gets pretty much kidnapped by Guts at the beginning of this while he's escaping the encampment from his capture by the Holy See. And you see where these spirits are starting to possess all sorts of creatures, like these demon dogs and this horse. This horse tries to mount Farnese, tries to mount her, and tries to literally fucking rape her. I'm not joking. And, like, as she's getting raped, Guts remembers the memories of what happened to Kasuga. He goes into this rage fit, like this rage pops up, and he cuts his fucking horse in half brutally. Oh my god, he cuts his horse in half. Peter would be very pissed if they saw it. I want to be honest. Peter would be very fucking pissed if they saw Berserk. Oh my god, keep Peter away from Berserk. Anyways, Guts cuts through this horse, and as he cuts through this freaking horse with his straight-out rage, he stops right at the neck of Farnese, right before she's about to get cut in half too. He stops right there. You could tell the rage in Guts now. I mean, it's just so much emotions in that. And when he says, like, how can I forget this pain when it's embedded in my right eye? The last scene I saw in my right eye, embedded, and you see the blood with Griffith raping Kasuga with that right eye, and I'm like, oh my god. And when he even states, like, that was the worst he's ever felt. And he's like, thanks, this is the worst I've ever felt. I remembered it. So that was just really depressing, getting to see that in this volume. I'm like, oh my god, those wounds, man, those wounds really hurt. Now, like I said, besides the entire bit with the religion and all that being built up in this, and that's just some really controversial type themes going on in this, like, oh my god. There's a little bit with, you know, Guts actually getting some form of character development, or actually realizing what he has done. As we know, in Volume 14, he left Kasuga with Rickert and Goto and all them in the middle of the mountains, and left them there. He willingly left Kasuga to seek his own vengeance, his own path of rage to take down Griffith. And when he did this, in the act of doing this, he actually left behind something irreplaceable. He never wants to lose. Kasuga, Rickert. And he realizes this in this volume. He realizes that he left her behind, and he pretty much lost her, and now he's trying to get her back. And so, seeing that development of how he, like, actually is having to choose between his rage or Kasuga really is like, oh my god. And then the entire bit with how he was trying to blame Rickert, but then he realized that he can't really blame Rickert since he was doing the exact same thing, and Rickert technically stayed for that long. It's just, yeah, it's depressing as fuck. Speaking of Rickert, he is now an apprentice, blacksmith. He's actually now a blacksmith, so now he has some form of major usefulness to overall the story, because since he's now a blacksmith, he's going to be repairing Guts' equipment, I think, from now on for the course of the series, since technically Goto, you know, the master of Rickert, is dying. From old age, nothing else, just dying from old age. And so he's going to be probably taking a spot to repair Guts' equipment. Guts has to actually technically get his equipment repaired in this volume, and he gets some new upgrades, as we can see, that Rickert gives him, so we'll have to see exactly what those do. But overall, that was just amazing, seeing how the character development for Guts, how he's matured, and how much he's actually matured as a character since Volume 13, or even through the beginning of this series. It's amazing. Now, I want to talk about something else, too. I noticed something else about Guts' character I have failed to mention, actually, quite a bit for these past couple volumes. And no, Chibi's actually pointed me out on it. I don't know why they haven't. But, I failed to talk about Puck and Guts' relationship. Like, in the past, like a couple volumes back, right at the end of Volume 13, or even in the beginning of the first 3 volumes, Guts never wanted to be around people because he didn't want to get hurt no more. He did not want to get hurt after what happened to him with his band of hawks, his friends, his family. He didn't want to get hurt again. And now, in these past couple volumes, you actually see Guts opening up as a person to Puck. He's opening up and actually calling him by a good name. He's using him as a friend. Like, for instance, Puck and Guts are now friends. They're helping each other. And to see that shows you how much Guts has actually developed past the eclipse, too. Like, he's actually trying to open up once again. Hopefully, Puck does not die in the future, because that would be fucked up, man. That would literally, you might as well rip Guts' balls off if you're going to kill Puck. Because, I mean, Guts is finally opening up once again, and if you do that to him and kill Puck off, yeah, you might as well chop the dude's balls off, because, I mean, seriously, he's not gonna have nothing left after that. Anyways, overall, the volume, the way it dabbles into these controversial themes, I fucking love it. I love it. I love it when series do this. This is why I actually love Spice and Wolf so much. I love it for the economics and politics, yes, but I loved it for the pagan mythology. It's so fucking interesting seeing how writers will dabble into pagan mythology along with Christianity or something like that. It really intrigues me, and to see how Berserk is doing this and actually making it have correlation with the idea of evil and the God hand, and how these people that truly believe in this holy, magnificent God is actually they're following a corrupt and evil God is just as fucking mind-blowing. Even how Guts, you know, symbolizes miracles as evil in this. Like, he makes light of God, pretty much the whole he sees God, saying, oh, you see this? That's why it's called a miracle on Earth, when you saw the demon dogs. That was just like, oh my god. Just, yeah. I want to stop it here, because like I said, I don't want to make this video so freaking long. The themes in this, damn. And I want to talk more about it in the next volume reviews. Oh yes, whoa, back up. I almost forgot one thing. I got to mention one thing. Zod got his ass kicked by Griffith in this volume. He got his fucking horn chopped off by Griffith between dream and consciousness. The fuck? Zod lost his horn to Griffith. Okay, now I want to leave it at that. So anyways, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Love y'all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.